Welcome back to Trojans Live. Our coach interview is presented by iTrust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. And Monster Energy is the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the beast. Time to unleash that USC defense, and we've got him in the chair, the new defensive coordinator, D'Anton Lynn. Welcome to the Trojan family. Welcome to Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown with you. Coach, I think everyone was excited about the news when you joined up. Well, what was the determining factor or factors for you to take this gig?
A school like this, just with the history, the tradition, the success that this program has had over the years, it was a hard opportunity to turn down, especially with a head coach that's going to score points like this. So, I was super excited.
Coach, we had Coach Riley on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked to him about what was important to him about finding his right piece for defensive coordinator. And what from your angle, you have to make some hires too to put your staff together. What was the final verdict to find those kind of guys? The right pieces for your system.
You're right. We didn't want just the best staff. We wanted the right staff. So I feel like you look at our staff now, it's a staff that complements each other well. You have experience in the NFL. You have experience in college. You have guys who've been coordinators. You have guys who've been head coaches. So it's a very versatile staff.
Yeah.
You made the comment of, you're going to a head coach that's going to score points, which naturally it's like, of course. But we live in an era now where, and we live it sometimes of, Lincoln Riley, it's hard to be a defensive coordinator because they're putting up so many points and your guys are always on the field and all that. And you hear the other side just as much as you hear your point you just made. How do you assess that dynamic, especially in this new era of football with a coach like Lincoln Riley who is always on the gas?
You know what? I love an aggressive offense. I think that definitely changes the way you have to call a defense at times. But I'm never going to complain about an offense that scores points. Never going to complain about that.
What are the principles of a D'Anton Lynn defense? Philosophically, what can people expect?
We put a big emphasis on three things. Obnoxious communication. We want guys talking a lot, like pre-snap and post-snap, whether it's about our call, checks, over communicating that, but any information about the offense too, back location, tight end, splits. We put a big emphasis on effort. I know everyone does that, but it's something that we really emphasize, like all 11 guys, every single play, not every other play, but every single play, and then attacking the ball. So we want to attack the ball off the quarterback, off the ball carrier, in the air. We're always trying to attack the ball because we know if we can get the ball to our offense, they're going to do good things with it.
Coach, we've heard a lot about Coach Wiley. Obviously, had a big offseason with the guys. Coach talked about the amount of pounds they put on. For you, is that a big deal? I know some coaches are into the body type thing. Or are you looking more just about the kind of dog that's in the guy, or do you like to specify body types by position?
I mean, it's a good combination of both. Okay. I think you definitely want certain body types, and you have marks that you're trying to hit, but at the same time, as you know, there's certain guys that just have something in them that they might be a little undersized, they might be a little short, they might not be, they might be a little.
I played with a couple guys who have bad bodies, Coach. I mean, they look terrible. This guy can't play, but
it's the way they
roll him out there.
Yeah, it's the way they play.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that combination of both. I think you don't want to take a risk on too many of those guys, but at the same time,
I wasn't one of those bad body guys.
Look at this
Specimen.
Look at this
Specimen.
Oh, that's great. Coach, I had the pleasure of calling your Week 2 game last year when you were at UCLA, and I remember a lot of the conversation around then was you adjusting to the college ranks that whole off season, and we were talking about things like the hash marks and how different that changes what you can call. Obviously in the NFL, hash marks are tighter together, and there's maybe different blitz packages you can get to and all those different things. You're not having to adjust to those things as much this offseason. What lessons did you learn last year in year 1 at the college ranks that you're able to either take with you now in year 2, or you're not learning those aspects as much, so you're able to spend time elsewhere?
And, coming into this year is a huge difference. Last year, everything was completely new. There were some formations that I'd never seen before. There were some unbalanced looks that I was like, I didn't know you could do this. So now coming into this year, it's more of towards the end of the year, we were always tweaking some things as we went. But when the season ended, there was a list of things that I was like, man, if I could go back, I would do this, 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 and this. So to come here, it was, all right, that's our starting point now. But now you're getting in a room with guys who have been doing it for a long time too, trying to get ideas from everywhere, just trying to find the best way.
You're listening to USC defensive coordinator D'Anton Lynn. And, Coach, you did last year exactly what everyone's hoping you can do this year, which is turn around a defense in a hurry. What's the key to doing it in a year and not having it be a 2, 3, 4-year project?
Taking it one step at a time. Our goal there was let's just be better than we were the year before. And we had our head down. We took it one step at a time. And at the end of the year, we picked up our heads and we liked where we were at. But we definitely weren't looking down the road. It was just one day at a time.
Coach, watching your defense last year, it seemed like the pass rush was really a paramount in your defense. Guys, winning one-on-ones, not just you, the ability to dial up packages. How does that transfer here? Is that the same kind of approach you're taking? You need guys, you're teaching, hey, we want to win one-on-one so we can kind of, help that back end a little bit. Is that the approach?
Yeah, I think the more you can affect the quarterback with four, the more that opens up everything. That more that opens up your coverages, the more that opens up your pressures, your sims. You always want to be in a situation where you pressure because you want to, not because you have to.
Yeah.
So that's definitely our goal at the end of the spring.
When you look at your just resume the past couple of years, you have Chip Kelly and Lincoln Riley, two of the best offensive minds our game's had the past couple decades. What does that mean for you that they're giving you that vote of confidence as their guy defensively, knowing how accomplished they are on the offensive side of the ball?
It means a lot. It's an honor, and it's something I don't take lightly at all. And I feel like it's made me a way better coach. Just the looks and the plays and the schemes that you're able to see and handle in practice. It gives you a lot of confidence as a defensive coach going into any game on Saturday.
You're listening to D'Anton Lynn, the USC defensive coordinator. And if you recognize the last name, it's because he's the son of Anthony Lynn, a guy that we've seen coach in the NFL for a very long time. And I'm just wondering, this is sort of an off-the-board question. We've seen a lot of successful sons of coaches in football. Thinking of Kyle Shanahan, with the Niners and so many others. Is it because you grew up around the game? Is it because your dad was a great tutor for you? What do you think it was that made you be able to be a coach at such a young age and already an accomplished coach?
Yeah, I think it's just growing up around the game. I was born when my dad was in college and playing at Tech, so I was always around the team. When my dad retired, I was still in elementary school, so I started going to the office. I was in his position rooms and OTAs. I was always a ball boy every single camp. So you're just always around the game. And then when I finally got a chance to coach, you don't realize at that age you're learning so much without actually realizing that you're learning anything. And then you just see it all apply now.
Coach, you got a chance to bring in Coach Henderson at the defensive line position, and he obviously has some friends. I saw him out there, Aaron Donald running around. It's not too bad to have that. Maybe one of the best defensive tackles that ever played the game, or defensive players that ever played the game out there in the field. What has Coach Henderson brought to this group in the couple weeks he's been here?
I mean, it's been awesome. Just his energy, his enthusiasm, and then, again, just what he's going to add to us from a schematic standpoint, too. I got a chance to coach with him for a year, and then we split up after that.
Okay.
And, I've had success, he's had success, but we've done things completely different. So it's been great to be able to get together again and then see different ideas about how I've been doing things, but then also tweaking this because he's been doing it like this.
Yep.
When you look at goals for spring ball, to me, it's always an interesting question. When it's what do you think we're going to figure out at the end of spring ball? And it's we're not really going to know a whole lot because you obviously need fall camp and get into actually playing real life ball. But from a coach's perspective, especially in year one, what are those goals or checklists that you're looking to attack the summer already accomplished?
Well, we're not going to get the entire playbook in spring, but at the end of spring, you want to feel like you have a good, strong foundation as far as your pillars, as far as your main fronts, your main coverages, your core pressures, and you want those guys to not just know it, but you want those guys to understand it. Because I think when they understand it now, when we add the piles in camp, it makes it easier. And we want to somewhat find an identity. We're going to be multiple, but as far as what is our calling card, what's that? What's our go-to? That's based off of the players. I'm not the type of coach where I'm going to say we're this type of team and then we don't have those type of guys and I sit there and wait till we get those guys. No, we're going to figure that out in the spring and we're going to find a way to put these guys in the best position.
Coach, we can't talk about specific names yet, but there was a lot of positive recruiting energy coming out of the weekend. What do you feel like message-wise is hitting with this next generation, particularly on the defensive side of the ball?
I think just with us going into the Big Ten, it's a new era, new defense. I think players are excited. I think we have a great coaching staff, and I think everyone's really getting a chance to see that on display.
Haven't been here too long yet, Coach, but have you had any oh man, I'm coaching at USC. Kind of, this is like a cool moment. You've been some great places, obviously, in your career already at a young age. But this is a special place. And have you had one of those moments yet where it's wow, coaching at USC?
When you walk past the Sean Cody plaque, it's all right, I'm here.
My first day at practice, I kind of had that. I remember coming to the USC camp when I was in high school, and there's just something about this place. Just all the the tradition and the players who have come here. And no offense, but you look at all the offensive guys who have come through here, but to me, there's still a defensive squad.
You're not offending Sean.
And there's just so many great defensive players who have been here, and to be able to be on the same field as them, not just players but coaches as well, it's an honor.
Sean's still waiting for that Trojan War 2 documentary about the 2004-2005 defense.
We need another Leinart and Reggie Bush documentary. Come on.
All right, thank you, Coach. Again, welcome to the Trojan family. It's great to have you, everyone. Looking forward to seeing what you could do with this defense. They can take a look. The USC spring game is April 20. It'll kick off around at noon at the Coliseum. So come check out the spring game. And we've got a couple players coming up, too. We're going to get to talk to. Kamari Ramsey is next. He came over from UCLA as well and is a safety on this team. So stay tuned for Kamari Ramsey on Trojans Live.